Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Salam sejahtera, selamat Hari Raya, maaf zahir batin. Masih we are only 14 Syawal. So I guess I can wish you that. I'm sorry for the very lengthy title. Actually, I was trying to put things together. And I'm so happy to be here today. I mean, online with you for about an hour or so. We do not probably have much time to talk about everything, but I will try my best. But as I told the organizers, this is about just sharing my experience. No mind-boggling theories, whatever, but my experience and some of my thoughts about ODL. So thank you for those who came in from outside as well. The context will be probably higher education and a lot leaning towards UiTM, but I'm sure you can also use it or apply it in your own organization. Okay. So my name is Aziah Alias. I'm from the Faculty of Education. I'm currently at the office of the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and International. So what we do is we have to plan ODL, we monitor, we evaluate, and I see a lot of things happening for the past 2 months. Happy faces, kurang, distress a lot, but it's okay. But I think we are coming to terms with it, and we are trying our best, right? So for today, we are going to, before I get into my, can I just backtrack a bit? This is my ODL story, and why do I have to tell this story? Because maybe you need to understand that this thing has been existing for a long time. Even in 1998, I already got my graduate certificate in open and distance learning. Some of you, I'm sure, were still running in Pampers or probably in Tadika, still so young, but at that time, I was already online with University of Southern Queensland, trying to learn something. And the thing is, it was internet-based, but there was nothing, no video, no pictures, nothing. All the contents were text-based. But you got this certification, acknowledgement as being the state of the art in international delivery, curriculum, content, and form, which I agreed. Because for that 1 year that I was online with USQ, I enjoyed the course a lot. Again, not because of the bells and whistles, but mostly because the lecturers, the instructors were really, honestly, I think were trying to get us to learn something, and it was such a good experience. So I want to set your mind, our mind in that position now, not so much about talking about technology in the form of the latest technology and so on. So our agenda is we're going to talk a bit about where we are, what ODL is, and the 4 main themes of this talk is about ODL, minimalism, and then we want to talk about the experience and technology. Okay, so and it may not be in this, I'm not going to start like where we are and going to minimalism last. I may just, jump from one to another. But now let us all, I'm sure most of us in this particular webinar right now has been doing or already starting in ODL. So for the people in UiTM, you have been doing this for 1.5 months or 2 months or so. So shall we just pause and reflect for a bit? Maybe we ask, are we doing the right thing? When we started this, people were really angry. Were really angry with HCA. I know that, okay? But we have to plan for the worst case scenario. And I think I'm glad that we did that because now you have time. Please bear in mind for those in UiTM, we started on the 13th of April. we can go on up to August. Even though the calendar academic said you have to finish by July, but you have time. You've got time to report the grades till August. So if things are not really, in place at the moment, revise it, and you got about 2 months to do things right. So I know you've been working at home with the kids, but I also see people advancing very well, using the latest tech and so on. So, and then I just want to share this. This is general data. We did a lot of survey. The first time when we embarked on ODL, we ran a survey. 60,000 students answered. Almost 64% said they are ready for online learning. So we got another 36 not ready. So we decided we go for ODL rather than online learning per se. About 2 weeks ago, we ran another survey, 2 weeks or so, we ran another survey. 36,000 students answered. We couldn't get more respondents, not because the students were not answering, but because I miscalculate my subscription. So, but more than 50% said they are having positive ODL experience. So, tahniah, congratulations to the lecturers who are doing this right. But in ODL, we do not just concentrate on that 50%. We got to look at the others. So about 25%, they are either very, strongly disagree or depressed, kind of. 25% of our students are still grappling with ODL. So this is a cartoon that was drawn by Aaron Burkwa. I think this actually reflects some of what our students are experiencing. The professors are all, bersemangat. We are doing things, putting things together, and we push it to the students. But we may not be thinking about how the students are receiving it. Okay, so this is a comic from my class. One of my students, when when we started ODL, I got them to reflect, and we did comics. We did comics as part of the course because I'm teaching innovative technologies in education. So as you can see, how the train of thoughts of this particular student, and many of them actually. So he said, do my lecturers keep spamming me with assignment tasks, reminder, and I got class at 8. How am I supposed to do this? Online class is no fun at all. So he was saying, I'm going to skip this class. It's not like I focus during it or learn anything. Oh, so sorry. Our students are feeling that way. Yeah, I'm still going to read the slide nonetheless if there's any upcoming test. And then he later said, I'll tell her in the day that I had bad reception. She definitely will bite. Kesian kat kita, if our students are thinking that way. But our students are also pretty responsible because at the end he said, oh, I should have just attended the class. I hit myself. So I hope even as we push ODL, our students are learning. We are also learning with them. And when we do this, we have, like I said, we've got time still to revise and look at what are the issues and how we're going to do something about it. So I know I have not come to minimalism, but still trying to put us where we are. We asked the student, we extracted these issues from the student. I know this is UiTM, but I'm sure most other universities are having the same because I checked with some of my colleagues. Students are saying they don't have conducive learning environment. Something that we kind of missed when we started ODL because we thought we send them home, they go online, and everything's fine. But our students live in small apartments with 6 siblings, 2 parents, and one of them actually said, okay, by the way, I read thousands and thousands of comments. So one of them actually said, the only learning space I have is on my bed. Can you imagine with us giving them a lot of this stuff, and that's the only place that he can study. Okay, then the students said the number of tasks and assignments and deadlines that we give to them is burdening because they come from different lecturers, right? So they're getting a lot of tasks, and I know how we function because we are also kind of excited. After 3 hour session online, we tell them go read this, go review this, and so on. Okay, of course, a big issue is internet connectivity. Our students in Sarawak, in Sabah, not necessarily Sarawak, Sabah, maybe even in rural Selangor, they have to find places where they can connect. So, for example, in Sarawak, our students climb, hills for many 100 meters to just get that signal. Another one sat in the kitchen of a neighbor, at the kitchen area of a neighbor's house, to get the connectivity. So they are trying their best, and then we, of course, we are also trying our best. Then the students said even the platforms and the tools used by the lecturers is also a concern because Prof. Hajah is using this, Puan Roslinda is using this, and then Dr. Johan is using this. They are all teaching me, and I get confused. So many platforms and so many tools, right? And of course, there's the issue of isolation. And let me tell you, this isolation issue is becoming a more of a concern now. As you can see, students are experiencing this. One of my students said she could not reach out to the friends. Even another student said she noticed that her friends are not answering WhatsApp anymore. That's you have to worry about that. And also this fear, what am I going to get? Am I going to fail? This anxiety and so on. So you see a lot of students kind of depressed, and we've got issues with the counselors were telling me a lot of cases when it comes to depression and so on. Then again, the lack of ODL skill among students and lecturers, and also reaching out and cooperating with peers. So when we look at lecturers, almost the same. Non-conducive home environment, of course lah. You want to do your recording, your narrated PowerPoint slides, your kids, they want to learn from Cikgu Tadika, duk call, why aren't you getting your students, your children online? Your husband also want to use the laptop and so on. But our lecturers are also experiencing this, what they call this inflexibility, sometimes rules set by management. For example, you're telling them you can only teach at certain hours. Whereas this lady, for example, with 3 small kids cannot handle an 8:30 class because she needs to feed the kids and so on. So things are happening. I mean, even our lecturers there are people who are depressed, right? Of course, we also have issues of internet connectivity, and for the first time for some people, they've never used any platform or any tool, suddenly they have to use it. So can you imagine the panic? We cannot just bring our PowerPoint to the classroom anymore. Now we have to go online. So, and then a lot of people telling, oh, use this tool, use this platform, this is good. And you're learning so many things. I kesian actually become sometimes looking at the lecturers, trying to find that particular platform or tool that can suit your course, right? And the issue also comes from mindset and perspective change. Mindset is not an easy things to change, but now we need to change our perspective. We are no longer that coming to class, giving this content and the students receiving it. It's a lot more to ODL. Okay, so this is one issue, reaching out and cooperating with peers. At the moment, most of us are working alone. I noticed this, right? For example, 5 of us are teaching one course. Now we have 5 sets of PowerPoints, 5 platforms, 5 a lot of things. Because we had no time, actually we did not have time. We had no time to come, sit together and decide how we are going to do this together. And if we can do this, next semester will be easier for us. I need to mention next semester because KPT said we are not bringing the students back, not until December. Okay, so ODL lah kita, right? So till now, did we actually ask, what is ODL? How many of us actually browse the internet and read about ODL when we first throw it to you? You know, open and distance learning, online distance learning. What about the O in ODL? What is that open thing? You know, why are we talking about that open in ODL? So let me just go back to DL, distance learning. The history sekejap. Kadang-kadang it's good to know about history. In 728, they started this distance learning correspondence course, and it moved until 1980s. In 1980, I was already in the US. When I came back for summer, I had about 3 to 4 months. I did a correspondence course on English writing, I think something like that. Even though they already started using computers, I had to mail my assignment. The assignment came back. So within 4 months, I got my credit lah for that course. I didn't get A lah, because a lot of things were not there when we do distance learning during that time, especially from between someone in the US and someone in Malaysia. But it is already there. And UiTM, we started in 1990s, paper-based, and we went on to UiTM flexible learning program. What we did was in 1998, the good thing is we started with what we call self-instructional material, SIMS. And this is good. And I know people here who are actually people who wrote these SIMS. So you understand the need to be the need for content to be self-instructional. And then we moved to e-learning lah. 2005 we got iLearn, we go blended learning in 2009, 2014 we did MOOC. So actually in UiTM, the history is pretty good. You know, we started early. But of course, when we are not pushed to do things, we try a bit and then we say, never mind lah, I just go to class and teach, right? But the thing is, what we are doing now, basically remote teaching and learning, because the open is not there yet. So we need to handle a lot of things. We handle content. We need to think of the delivery, the instruction, assessment. How are we going to do this? We are so used to tests. We are so used to exam. How do you evaluate whether the students are actually learning? What methods, what strategies, what techniques, what tools, what platform, what system? Oh, overwhelming for sure, right?
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Dr. Shidani.
Yeah?
Prof, so sorry to interrupt you. Can you disable your WhatsApp notifications because we can see your WhatsApp?
Because I'm sorry, because I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, okay, Prof.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
Sorry. I'm sharing my screen, not my window. Sorry. Okay, so but we need to do this. After all this, we need to think of the learning design. Are we designing the learning of our students? So now the mindset will have to be this design person. I'm a designer kind of thing, right? So we have to ask questions rather than thinking of all the tools too early. We need to ask, should our face-to-face session be transferred as is online? Maybe not. Our class, everything online 3 hours? Maybe not. But what about the interaction? When you go to class, you interact, you ask them, how are you? You know, why didn't you come last week? That kind of thing. So what about the interaction, the connectedness, the engagement? So now we have to think in a bigger scope, right? Otherwise, everything happening in the class, now we need to design the ODL experience. The mindset now is a design mindset, not so much to solve this small problem, but to improve things to do that we do, so that as we go through June, July, August, September, October until December, we ourselves will enjoy that experience. Okay, so shall we just go through very fast the ODL features that you might miss? I know you know this, but you might miss. Number one, by right, ODL students should be learning at their own pace. We can't do that lah. Yeah, they have 6 courses. If they learn at their own pace, I don't think we can handle that. But we can give them a bit of leeway. Okay, please don't think of them being in the classroom as normal, in the normal classroom, because our students are handling stuff at home. I did not realize one of my students actually were managing her household. She needs to cook, she needs to clean, she needs to take care of the sibling because the mother was stuck offshore. I didn't realize that until she told me. So I let her be. I mean, she can come in later. She's that's why my session on my online synchronous session normally short. She can come in later. She can start her studying at 2 a.m. in the morning. I will respond to her as soon as I can. And when I send out messages, I send a personal message to her because sometimes she couldn't even follow the WhatsApp group because she is busy during the day. Pity her. And she has not only my class, but also the other courses. The second thing is learning is self-directed. Not an easy task. Our students are young. Distance learning, when it started in the 70s century and so on, it was for mature students. It was for mature adults who want to upgrade their certification, upgrade their knowledge. So they have some level of maturity and autonomy there. But our students are not like that. And suddenly you're telling them, okay, we go ODL. So they don't understand. They don't understand the fact that they have to go out, go find resources as well, and go to direct. But maybe after 2 months or so, they are learning because you're doing very well as a lecturer, inshallah. Okay, we know that ODI eliminates geographical areas. Accessibility is 24/7. Don't get angry if students send you messages at 2 in the morning, answer it until 8 in the morning. Okay, no worry about that. But your resources must be there. Because if they wake up early at 4 in the morning, they need to see what they miss. So your PowerPoint, your whatever should be somewhere online, or you have sent to them earlier. And learning is flexible in the time, place of mode, you know that. And then the thing that we can sometimes miss is that students have multiple learning style. So they are visual, they are auditory, they need to do things. So can we cater to all this? Maybe not in one session or not in a week, but we can do this over 22 weeks or over 18 weeks. This week, we do a lot of visual. Next week, we do a lot of text-based. Next week, we get them to do things. So we have to think that way in order to engage, right? And they come from diverse background. Like I told you, some are they're B40s, some they're not everybody. They are not students from TTDI, you know, bibik masak lunch. They can, you know, really study without any disruption. And then they got good connectivity and so on. The good thing is ODL will enhance their independence because now they have to work basically on their own. Their friends are not around. They cannot name pick a friend, but it should enhance their interaction. Actually, they can be online with their friends, and it should enhances your interaction with them because normally we go to class, we talk with them for 2 hours, we leave them until next week, but not ODL. Basically, 24 hours you are with them, right? And the good thing is you can learn from other institutions. Oh yes, it has enhances your computer internet skills. So mudah pandai, Google Meet pandai, Webex lah, Microsoft Teams and so on. Right? Okay. So with that, we want to talk a bit about minimalism because so many things, overwhelming and sometimes disappointing. I know lecturers, one of the Timbalan Dekan told me lecturers in her faculty recorded her PowerPoint lah. I mean, she did her video for the student. After completing it, when she looked at the video, she cried because her voice was not tak sedap. So I know that feeling, you know, you want to do so well, you want to do so much, but sometimes you cannot just fulfill that particular requirement that you set for yourself. So that's why I'm bringing in minimalism. You focus on that small number of carefully selected and optimized activities that strongly support things you value. And what is it that you value? You value the learning of your students. You value your responsibility as an educator. These many months, you can do a lot more than just forwarding content to your student. So why minimalism? Because we want to eradicate all this unnecessary stress, right? So what matters most in ODL, if you want to talk about minimalism, is, to me, this is it. I can give them a textbook, but if I can guide them through the textbook for the next 2 months, the students will appreciate it. But of course, you don't want to do that alone, because you need them to have a variety of learning experience. But this is what is important: someone who guides and someone who facilitates. And someone will say, "Oh, I have 200 students. How do I guide each of them?" Maybe you don't need to guide each and everyone, but you can have the mini learning communities and so on. Now we talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so that's we talk about minimalism, about ODL. We'll touch a bit on meaningful, because I really want to study this. In fact, I've been doing this for many years. People who have seen this slide before, I'm sorry, you have to see it again. But what is meaningful? When you ask the students, number one, they want to know whether they're doing it right. Okay, that's why when you give them tasks, they will personally WhatsApp you. Is this correct, Prof? Am I on the right track? That's important to them, and you need to address that, right? That's meaningful to them. This particular feedback that the lecturer or the professor is giving, and of course, they are more driven on effective outcomes that will change them. Now they will say, "Now I know how to do this. Now I understand that." It changed their perception, they changed their perspective, changed their skill. So I showed them a video on Masako. If you know this lady in Japan who actually created apps at the age of 52, and the students were, "Oh, now they are odd because they're so young, they have not done anything, but this old lady at the age of 82 created apps for Apple." So these are the things that, things that change them. Not so much of that many lines of text that you are giving them and just reading it and then later putting it on the test, right? So that they don't talk about grades and tests actually when I ask them what is meaningful. And they want to create, they want to express, they want to explore, they want to discover. These are from the students, and they are more talking about process, becoming a better person. ODL will make me more resilient. That's what the students are saying. And of course, that's the dimension of social learning and whether it can be applied. So for the next half hour or so, I'm going to go through two things. Minimalism in design and minimalism in technology. So in design, when we design, we do a lot of this. We formulate instructional time, student learning time, we do a lot of content, we do this a lot, right? But we sometimes forget to design collaboration among students. Yes, you did give them group work, but did you check how they do the group work? Because students are saying they are so stressed out because he or she he's doing it alone because the friends are not contributing, and it is worse because they are all over Malaysia. So if they don't contribute, they don't have a place to meet other than online. So they can just shut off. It's happening to the students. So you need to facilitate that. And feedback and support is very important. We ran that survey and asked students, are you receiving feedback from your lecturers? Oh, which is good. Almost 60% students said lecturers actually provide feedback and support. Alhamdulillah. But there are also students saying there are lecturers who just they gave questions who did not even answer for the next 3 to 4 days. Okay, so I think we don't expect lecturers to answer the questions immediately, but you can tell them, okay, this is my turnaround time. We call it turnaround time. You give a question in the morning, I will answer it by 4 o'clock in the afternoon or by 5 o'clock. You tell them early so that they understand. And they know that you are also busy, and they can live with that rather than you not saying anything and not even answering or giving them feedback, right? Okay, so connection to students, I think most of us are doing it because they really they need to be motivated. Okay, um, how do I say it? Sometimes they're just alone at home trying to do this. Parents marah. Some of the students said the parents marah because spending too much time. Buat apa kat komputer tu? Belajar ke, main ke, you know, that kind of thing. They are experiencing this. And so we need to motivate them. We need to understand what they are going through. And when we deliver, we need to build this engagement. A lot of interactivity, we need to sustain interest, and we use a lot of multiple media. I have to address this because there are comments from students. Yeah, someone saying, please tell the lecturers, do not use WhatsApp every week. Students are saying that already. So I think I can imagine. Every week they go on WhatsApp and nothing else, you know. And sometimes they get lost in the WhatsApp. And there's also lecturers, every week they have to watch this lecturer on video. So it's not necessary because you need to vary. The experience should be varied. And to embed equity, flexibility and choice, this is important. UDL for ODL. UDL means Universal Design of Learning, meaning some students may not be able to use some tools. You have to give an option or even flexible assignment option. TESOL students can write very well. You get them to write, that is not a problem. But when you, with art student, maybe they like to draw. If the outcome is to propose something, they can propose through drawing, they can propose through video, they can they can also write. See, this is the idea of ODL. So when we talk about minimalist, now, number one, you have to keep it simple. Find the essential learning goals, the essential assessment. When we look at your the courses and the assessment, sometimes in AIM, we see 7 to 8 assessment. Why do you need quiz 1, quiz 2, test 1, test 2, project, presentation, and so on? What is the outcome? The outcome, if you're not measuring communication, oral or any form of communication skill, forget the presentation, reduce it. Can you just use one test or maybe and one quiz, maybe to measure their cognitive outcome? So you don't have to have so many, especially in ODL. Okay, so minimal. Learning goals. Okay, let's say I'm teaching research methodology. What is the outcome? The outcome is for the students to be able to know what is research and to propose a research. Can I just use the proposal to evaluate that? Actually, you can. Because when they do the literature review, you know, they can search, they can analyze, they can synthesize. When they do chapter 3 methodology, you know, they have to study the methodology that fits their research. They know how to look at a problem. They know how to find the best methodology for the problem. So we don't need all the other assessment items or, you know, that kind of thing. So you have to keep it simple, right? And then you have to chunk it, short burst. Oh, tolonglah, please do not get students to watch 1 hour of your video. You yourself cannot watch an hour of video. You can watch 1 hour of drama lah. But you see drama, there's a lot of drama. So, but not in your material. There's no drama there, you know, normally, right? So chunk it. I normally have only about less than 5 minutes of video, and then I get them to do other things. And maybe later watch another 3-minute video, that kind of thing. So this is better because short burst is better. It improves retention, it improves engagement. And of course, this one should come early. The advanced organizer, like I said just now, tell them early, this is the lesson goal. You're expected to know this. I'm going to do this. The time required for you is about this much and so on. So that one must be clear. So, and then package it. Package it. We now have topics like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, sampai week 14. That's okay when you go to campus and so on. But in ODL, you have to rethink that and package it so that it becomes one learning experience with a few topics. So let me just look at the designs that you have in UiTM. For example, most of you are doing this. This is what we kaji in UiTM. We look at lecturers, the way you deliver. You have a typical lecturer like delivery, you provide content, student work on tasks, and you provide feedback. And some people are flipping. You give work early, and then but you give guidelines on the task, and when they come to you, you reiterate the content, you give feedback, very good. And then there are some of you who give a lot of stuff for students to do. You give them that autonomy to work on a project, substantial project, and then you affirm their whatever competence through personalized group, small group. And this is another lecture like, but very active and interactive. You present content, you ask questions, and normally this takes a longer time. So when we look at this, all these things that you are doing, so I kind of simulate what the students are going through. Bear with me. This may be like a little bit overestimated lah, yeah. But let's say all the students are taking 3 credit hour courses, course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4, course 5, course 6. 6 lecturers. Lecturer 1 decide to do 3 hours synchronous video conferencing. Lecturer 3 also 2 hours, lecturer 5 and lecturer 6. On top of that, lecturer 1, after the hours, the video conferencing, get students to read. So maybe students need 2 hours and then to write a review on what he or she reads, and then you ask them to go to a forum, for example. This is in a week. So another lecturer use narrated slide, 2 hours, students have to watch your narrated slide and then watch another video, and then you go discussion, then you ask them to do a lot of web-based tasks lah. Okay. Another one, this is probably a math lecturer, give a lecture, ask them to read, and then give them a lot of problems, worksheets and so on to solve. Okay. Which is okay because you need to solve a lot of problems in math. I'm not saying these are not okay, but we just want to see what the students are experiencing. Course 4, lecturer use WhatsApp. You stretch it, and then or Telegram over 4 hours. Students, they cannot just really leave, but they have to be there, and just in case they miss that discussion. After that, you ask them to read, and you give them some problems to solve and so on. So some of you may think like, okay, I'll give them a case, study the case, and then present online. The lecture will be 2 hours narrated slide, asynchronous, 1 hour online. So with this, this is another one. This is something that a lot of students complain. Lecturers asking them to do videos, and they don't have the skill to do videos, to create videos. So it's a lot of time. So let's say 6 hours trying to come up with a video, even though they're doing it in a group, it is still a lot of time for the student. So if you look at this, if I were to calculate all this, 8 plus 6, 14, 21, 30, 48 hours learning session for the learning time for the student, dah lebih daripada our own ATP, meaning, we are really, not torturing lah. It's a lot for the student. Okay, so we were going through this at our office. I did this with one of my ketua. Let's say you have all this, and can you just maybe do 1 hour maximum synchronous with no task before for the basic didactic design? You give tasks that maybe just take 1 hour or maximum 2 hours. I think this is better. Give them some revision time. If you flip, if you give substantial tasks, estimate it to be like 2 hours. I know you read a lot from our initial guideline, one 12-minute video equal 1 hour lecture kind of thing. But bear in mind, it does not apply to all subjects. You have a 12-minute video for my course, Innovative Technology, and 12-minute video for an applied science course on maybe some physics, quantum physics or so on. You need more for that quantum physics compared to that innovative technology video, to understand, to comprehend, to digest. So if you do this, we suggest maybe just 1.5 hour synchronous after class. Don't give them anything else to do because they already done things before. If you give them a very small task, watch a 3-minute video kind of thing, then you may have a 1 hour class, and then you ask them to complete the task later. So you see, I think it is a little bit less strenuous for the student. If you have interactive session, you have 4 to 5 hours, you finish everything there and let the students off. And before, let them study on their own. This is our suggestion. I'm not saying this is cast in stone, this is what we should do. So power to learner, same thing. All right. So I'm putting this here because you may have to do this in October when the new semester starts, because you may have to present content in a large lecture and have smaller groups, tutorial groups or learning communities, because the new students will come to campus, but they will be basically online with maybe about 20% to 25% face-to-face. Okay, so to package the experience, as I mentioned, I'm just going to share this, what I do. I requested permission from my RP, Dr. Johan. Can I do this? I have week 13 brought earlier to week 4. I've got stuff from week 5, 6, 7 together. So what the students did was reflect on what they think of ODL. We had a discussion on issues related to technology. They created comics, and then I taught them Microsoft Word. And after that, they put all these things together, their reflection, their comics, and so on, into a flipbook. A flipbook can be considered a Web 2.0 tool. So this is what they produce. I hope I can share this with you. Let me just see whether we can click. So I got the product of this particular package experience, a flipbook by my student, 50 pages. They actually learn how to do table of content. These are second semester students. So they use Pixton to create their comic. So they learn how to put in pictures. They do all these things are on basically Microsoft Word. You can put in the color, you can put in of course the front page and so on. And I get to read all these things and enjoy the comics that they use. So I think it is a better learning experience for them, rather than I teach them this week we do Microsoft Word, next week we do that kind of thing. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Another example is I packaged this. I was supposed to, the good thing is I'm teaching innovative technology. So I have this in my my syllabus. I told my students, hey, you are lucky, because you get to experience ODL. So they go like, but I packaged all the week 8, 9, 10, 11 together. I did not do it separately. So I tell them, this week we are going to flip, because you are going to experience flip learning. So I gave them things to do. Then they come to class, and we had a one slide summary of all the things that they did before class. And then we talk about open and distance learning. They get to go to the library and read about online and distance learning using the ebook at the library. Then they created videos. They sent it to Peter for the competition. This week, they are doing MOOC. But I don't tell them, I introduce MOOC to them. We talk about Brian Alexander, Dave Cormier, and all those people. We talk about that, and we talk about the Coursera, edX, and so on. But the idea is they have to understand what MOOC is. So this week, they are experiencing MOOC because they registered for this MOOC by Barbara Oakley. Barbara Oakley, she developed this MOOC, learning how to learn. Now she had 2 million learners. This is one dubbed as the best MOOC. So my students are registering and doing this as part of that content that I'm supposed to give it to them. So look at this. This is the videos that they developed. 3-minute video. I showcase them. We need to showcase them, and they are actually commenting on each other. So this is good because they can, these compliments, this support they are giving each other, and they have submitted it to Peter. Hopefully they will win something lah. I'm not sure about that. Then if I may share, the MOOC thing, actually it should be starting today. But look at this. One of them said, I have completed week 1 of the MOOC. I love the topic so much and I can agree certain things like, okay, that kind of thing. And another one said, oh yes, Prof, I after last week, I registered. I accidentally just continued learning for week 1. The videos were very short yet compact. It was really engaging. I found myself to actually learn something instead of simply finishing the task for the sake of it. So I'm actually applying some of the techniques Dr. Oakley had mentioned. But the thing is, while they are registering this MOOC, learning from this MOOC, I'm also part of the people learning from Oakley. So I said, I'm also one of the learners. So we are doing this together. So the students find it very, this is 2 of them. And there's another one this morning telling me that, oh, she likes the psychological part and that kind of thing. But it's supposed to start today. But these 2 have finished it last week, right? And I get students saying things like, I have a strong feeling you won't assign us tasks that wouldn't benefit us. That is a very strong statement. That means I think I have minimized. I have put in minimalism into place. And when this one menangis about I don't have a session with them today, I hope it's true lah that they actually enjoy my class, right? But when we go to technology, I spend a lot of time on design. When you go to technology, when we talk about minimalism in technology, you choose the minimum levels of technology with the advantage and limitation to support that outcome, that objective, that's all. Okay, so you have this essentialist perspective. What is essential? What is the purpose of using a video? What is the purpose of using simulation? Okay, and you concentrate on what matters most. So when we go into ODL, we said we look at 3 things: content, delivery, and assessment. So when we do technology, we want to see technology being utilized in the content. So you want to give access and make sure students can digest the content, technology supporting that. Students can synthesize, students can create. See, creating is very important so that it's meaningful, connecting and also reflecting. So this is a framework that I've been working on. Again, some of you may have seen this. So I tried this. We are supposed to teach them instructional design models and many instructional design models. So I gave them, there's a PowerPoint slide, of course, of the content, but I taught them mind maps lah. So this mapping the content and synthesizing this need not necessarily be a technology tool, because the students can just draw a mind map on a paper and take a picture, send it to me, done, right? But I taught them my mapping using my map, my Meister kind of thing. After that, I gave them scenarios. Okay, now that you know how to design instruction, try to design instruction. How do you teach people English, because they are TESOL students? So I gave them scenarios. Okay, this group, you do imams in Perlis. What kind of English lesson would they want to do? And so they do it in group. And look at this, the scenario is adolescents in Felda Kemasu Teriang. They don't even have to use this mind map. They can just write it on again on a piece of paper or Microsoft Word and submit. But they use the mind map to submit. And they did that. At the end of it, to consolidate, I gave them a 3-minute video. They do analysis. And you see the students, it's just they attach a PDF on her analysis. So basically, it's very simple technology, right? So when we do content, when we talk about minimalism in technological minimalism, the content must be accessible. The content must be self-instructional. They can use it without you being there all the time. You need to think of time allocation and interactive. So let me do this. I'm trying to put a range of all the technology. But like I said, this is not exhaustive. You can have text, pics, audio, video, animation, simulation. So the Word document itself is powerful. Because from Word, you can go to PDF, you can even straight away click within 3 seconds, it will turn into a web page if you are familiar with Office 365 and Sway. Or you can use it to create a flipbook. But what goes into the Microsoft Word document is what is important. Same thing with PowerPoint. PowerPoint can now be exported to PDF, web page. Oh, you can make a video, export to video straight away. You can make it a GIF. You can you can send it to Powtoon. Powtoon import PowerPoint if you want it to be a little bit more interesting. But basically, a lot can be done with PowerPoint. Okay, and there's also audio, very low tech recording audio. But if you want to make it better or more accessible, you can publish it as a podcast, right? So this is the things that we are doing now. Video podcast ni, a lot of us are narrating our PowerPoint, doing screencasting, penat pukul 1 pagi. I understand that, and sometimes we need to do it, especially if you're teaching math or technical subjects. We need to screencast. And of course, there's the MOOC. Or don't talk about internet resources, there's a lot of that. But remember, some students may not be able to access that. So let's say you have a Microsoft Word document. This is mine. Some of you are familiar with this. We did this when we were teaching PJJ. So in a Microsoft Word document, you can have links. You always tell them the outcome, right? You can make it a little bit interactive. You can have boxes so they can fill in if they print it out. Now it's better. You can have, you can automate that particular form, and you can have questions. You can even have blanks that they can fill in. So it's just Microsoft Word, minimal, but you need to put in all this. And this is important. You can have checklists, you can have time allocation and so on. Okay, so podcast, if you are good, go up to the web and have your podcast. You can have episodes of your material so students can easily download. They don't need high tech for that or high bandwidth, right? This is PowerPoint. You do a lot of PowerPoint, but in my PowerPoint, I guide them. If they have a task, for example, after 10 slide, I will use one of these icon, put it at the end of the, at the lower end here. So they know, okay, for this particular slide, I need to read and make note, use mind map, use sketch note, all these things. So the guide is important in your PowerPoint. And please make use of the notes down here, because you can easily create handouts, student can easily print out. And you don't even need to go video if you do this, okay? Because the students will be getting what you're saying as well. So don't make it so formal. Just say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, student. Today we are going to go through this particular theory and that kind of thing. You can just type it, right? But if you can do this, you have a MOOC. You can have instructors from different campuses, from different group, from other universities. This will be wonderful for ODL because they get to work with other people. You get to work with other lecturers as well. Okay, for delivery, organizer, can I get an extra like 10 minutes? Tak ada orang nak jawab. Okay.
Boleh Prof.
Ya? Okay.
Boleh.
For delivery, what we want, again, accessible is always the first thing. But you need your delivery to be sustainable. Sustainable meaning, if it's the same thing every week, memang tak boleh sustain, right? And it has to be active and interactive and engaging. It's easier said than done. But look at this. This is not everything again. But sometimes a simple messaging or a personalized group message can work very well. You have 30 students, you have group messages, a group with 5 of them only. You talk to 5 of them, you have to spend a lot more time. I know for UiTM lecturers, we are working on your ATS. Okay, we are giving you extra ATS. So if you are inshallah teaching like 18 hours, you don't need to do much. You already reach your 39 ATP. But let's talk about that once it's approved by the top management. But the paper is already ready, right? And audio and text-based conferencing, even WhatsApp can now bring in 8 people. You can have a simple chat Q&A platform, simple technology, but can be very meaningful or powerful. Of course, you have a lot of note-taking, brainstorming, collaborative tool. You can share file, Google Doc, Microsoft Word Online, and so on. And people are using whiteboard, Padlet. We can, most of us are stuck somewhere here, and students are saying they are being, like just now, kicked out, in and out of Hangouts and Google Meet and Skype and so on. So maybe we can reduce this and go to something like this, right? Or use platform that's more stable, like Future, Google Classroom, and so on. Okay, so when we look at this, if I may share with you, this is I adapted from from this blog. Actually, is I can't remember the person's name, but anyway, you think of balancing what's immediate and what's accessible. Okay, so if you need immediacy and students cannot access your video conferencing, I guess you have to make phone calls. I know lecturers in Faculty of Education, lecturers in Malacca, who are actually making phone calls to students. Thank you for that. On behalf of UiTM, we acknowledge your effort. Otherwise, if you don't have that immediacy, you can just use forum with text, reading with text, you can use email, or go up a bit, you use audio, you use session with video, or you podcast your audio and you screencast or podcast your video. This is one with highest bandwidth and highest immediacy. Okay. All right. So this is my next project, not my next project, my next package of experience for my learners. The lesson will be on managing technology. I will have my learners, that's me. And I'm bringing this teacher from Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Gua Musang so that they can talk to him about managing technology in the classroom, especially in the rural areas. Okay, and I will teach them while they're doing this. They are going to learn Excel and maybe some form of infographic in terms of to illustrate things in the classroom. They're talking about managing technology in the classroom. So with that, I'm going to probably finish my lesson for the semester lah. But this will be, I think, will be a good experience for the learners. I don't need high tech for that. I'm just going to bring him in the WhatsApp group, maybe for a day. But the students will have to prepare their questions. Okay, and last of all, the assessment. Assessment ni, how do I say it? We are so used to tests and exams. We tend to, we are worried, we are nervous about having other forms of assessment. But what we need is basically essential and relevant, and it should be more formative, and try self-assessing. One of the students said, the lecturer thinks I copied, but I did not copy. And then she said, please, because students, they are trying their best as well. You think they plagiarize or they copy on their online tests and so on, but some of them did not do that. So why not try self-assessing? Let them assess whether they actually achieve what they are supposed to achieve. Don't worry about, don't try to be this person administering tests all the time. So when we look at the total, not range, again, not exhaustive, you can start with probing and questioning. I use pictures a lot to probe to theories in education using pictures. Or you can use audio and chat, worksheets, or even handwritten and get them to upload something that they write. That's okay. Quizzing, you are familiar with this. Many of you are doing Kahoot, Mentimeter, Poll, everywhere. That's good. But it doesn't have to be online all the time. Anyway, you can go back to here, right? Or you can have a synchronous online test. So we are basically concentrating here. But we want you to do more than just a standardized or that kind of assessment. Go for authentic, self-assessment, feedback kind of style, because assessment can be diagnostic, can be formative, can be feedback, can be self-assessment, can be authentic, and of course, we are familiar with summative. So it can be print-based report, we can do product. When you ask them to do videos, make sure videos, they need to do videos because of the outcome, the link outcomes that stipulated, not just because you feel like watching their videos, right? Minimalism. Okay. So to summarize, when we work within this minimalist framework, you need to combine self-directed learning. Look at the diversity of the learners. Oh, their prior knowledge, they don't know how to do videos, teach them. If otherwise, don't ask them to create videos. Look at the experience. First semester students as compared to fifth semester students. Make it self-guided and meaningful. The task should be meaningful. And flexibility and pace is something that you have to build in. Again, please don't worry about, stopping on July, whatever, because we have a bit more time for you to play with so that you can do this right. And look at the activities that you're giving them. A student said this, one lecturer gave them 3 articles to read last week. Another 2 this week. That's only one lecturer. Oh, I was wondering, even I myself cannot be reading that much, that many articles, and you are giving that articles to the student. My question is, when you ask them to read, when you ask them to do all these tasks, did you actually grade it or give feedback? So make sure the feedback is always there, right? So build in critical thinking lah. So critical thinking means sometimes it's just a 3-minute video and they can talk a lot about that. I noticed that our students can do that. Of course, if you can build that, bring in contact, the relationship between your subject matter and real world, it will be best. That's why I'm trying to embed this online learning, ODL thing, technology tools as much as I can into my course now, because it is, like I said, it is so relevant and they are kind of lucky because they get to experience this. So, but after having said all those, we do need compassion and understanding. Let me quote this student. For the first time, I feel like this. Maybe this is my challenge. But when we got problem, can you just please listen? The students are begging you to just please listen and we can find a way. I think this is a very strong remark by a student, because as much as we are overwhelmed and stressed out with this ODL, they are at the receiving end, and I think they are having a more difficult time than us lah, right? So like Lao Tzu said, 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, and compassion. If we can have this, I think our ODL experience will be more meaningful even to us as lecturers. So I took an extra 5 minutes. Thank you. I would say excellence is the gradual result of always striving to do better. I believe you are thinking that way. That's why you are here today, even though you have done this for the last 1.5 months or so, because you are these people who are always thinking of your amanah, and you are passionate and you are inspiring as well. Inshallah, things will be easier for all of us. So all the best. And thank you to all who stayed and listened to this sharing of mine. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okey, terima kasih Prof. Demikianlah tadi pengkongsian daripada Prof. Dr. Hajah Aziah Haji Alias. So sekarang kita persilakan kepada peserta untuk mengajukan sebarang pertanyaan. Silakan jika ada.
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, I'm Shida from Laka, the Lecturer of Communication and Media Studies. I need your advice, Prof.
Okay. I was in Laka.
Yes, I attend your session in Laka a couple of days. Okay, Prof, just to ask your advice. We are designing course assessment in 2 ways. One way, we put minimum assessment, but in single assessment we will put high marks. For example, I have one report with 40%. And second ways, we use more assessment but with small marks. Concerning if students cannot perform, they may affect minimum marks. That is why you see the aims. We have test 1 and test 2 because if we put only one test in 30%, if they don't perform, it will lose like 30%. So which one is best? One assessment with higher marks or many assessment with minimum marks or small numbers of percentage?
Okay, I understand. I think what I mean is that we have test quiz 1, quiz 2, for example, quiz 1, quiz 2, and then we have test 1. Test 1 actually already is also assessing what you assess in quiz 1, quiz 2. That is something that we should minimize. Faham ya? Atau we have test 1, test 2, and then we have final penilaian also assessing what we already have assessed in test 1 and test 2.
Okay.
If possible, we don't want that. We don't want, because
double major.
Double. Sebab we are so used to it. Kita bagi test 1, kita bagi test 2, lepas tu nanti kita bagi final. Final comprehensive. So students are being like measured twice lah, assessed twice.
Yes.
But if what you are doing, I agree, because if it's a very heavy subject, for example, you don't want to wait till the end and just give them one test. You give them test 1, test 2, because you chunk. Actually what you are doing, you are chunking lah. So I think what you're doing is okay. Maybe I misled you when I said that test 1, test 2 question. Because I noticed sometimes people are doing it bertindan.
Betul.
Kan? So kita nak when we do this minimalism ni, kita tak nak yang bertindan tu. Faham? Kita nak student tu di-assess, kesian dia banyak kali sangat. Dia kena sit for test. Am I answering your question?
Yes, very clear, Prof. And second things, terima kasih banyak-banyak, Prof. You helping me more on issues that I'm facing. Sebab saya adalah ketua semakan kurikulum in my faculty. Okay, pensyarah buat online quiz and they are more concerned student meniru. As a result, they are very strict on time. For example, they have 20 questions. The time for student to answer the quiz is 20 minutes. As a result, yalah, dah jadi 20 minit tu student dah tak dapat jawab dengan baik lah. So bila Prof share kita tadi, beside kita gunakan online quiz, there are numbers of contohnya self-assessment untuk student measure dia punya kefahaman. This is very helpful. Kita selalu faham bila nak test kognitif adalah test, Prof. Untuk kita test kognitif, assessmentnya adalah test sahaja, itu yang kita faham. That is why kita develop atau kurikulum kita assessment untuk kognitif adalah test. Tapi terima kasih Prof. Prof dah share pada kita it's not only test saja to measure kognitif, ada lagi method yang lain. Thank you Prof.
Bila saya kata self-assessment, we have to fashion it properly lah. I think Dr. Shamsul is here, he can also help me. But when we do this, kita nak student tu, okay. In ODL ni, student tu dia mesti ada responsibility. Dia nak belajar ke benda ni atau tidak. You nak meniru, you meniru lah, but you are not learning anything. That is mine ni lah, right? But if you are doing this, when they self-assess, you kata, for example, have they reached this particular, do they know this, and you know they do this self-assessment, they get like 50%, that means you have not understood this. So there are many online punya resources sebenarnya yang do this kind of thing. So people who are teaching physics, I really like this particular website, dia panggil Diagnoser. Tapi good because when students answer the question, student salah, that particular website boleh identify, oh you have entered the wrong gravitational value, for example. So if we can do that, I think that will be much meaningful and a stronger way to, is stronger lah in terms of assessing. Error detection test, apa tulis tu? Thank you so much. Betul, error detection test. Bagus. I think many of us kat sini ada expertise yang kita tak tahu tau. Saya macam sayang lah saya rasa, because when I talk to people in Melaka, when I assess, actually people in Melaka, they have done their self-evaluation on ODL. Actually they get quite markah yang tinggi. So I think you are doing, that is what we want the students to do. You evaluate, but honesty kena ada lah. Sebab tu kita ni, when we use the word amanah, we manage two things. Satu is the integrity, satu is what you are, the responsibility that you have to carry. That's something like that. So I'm sure you can think of the best way to assess your student. Run away from that perspective that I am this teacher, I go teach, you listen to me, I test, you pass or you fail. Okay, that kind of thing. Kena lain sikit lah. Right? I may be wrong, but that's what I believe. And I think the students are they can accept that. Okay, any more questions?
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam.
Prof, saya Ismail daripada Fakulti Perusahaan Hotel.
Hotel, yes.
Okay. Prof, macam mana, what's your opinion on subjek yang memang dia ada a balance between practical and juga theory. So sebab I juga KPP, so ada juga my lecturer yang insist nak buat juga face to face, and kalau the university tak allow the face to face session, dia nak request student to drop or akan give TL on that. So
okay, semalam saya bercakap dengan your TD sebenarnya. The practical session ni kita nak kena tengok yang betul-betul tak boleh go online lah. So I understand that first few semester students need to really understand. Ya, mungkin saya tak pandai sangat baking kot. Kalau contohnya kan kita cannot have them doing it at home because they need to understand all the other things. So saya faham your situation. But I talked to your TD and she said actually the later semesters yang boleh go online, you only terbalik. You only bukan yang semester 6 yang kena banyak praktikal, dia terbalik kan. You can do so you have to put forward your case betul-betul, and then we can, kita ni bukan rigid lah sebenarnya, rigid sampai tak boleh nak orang kata nak consider, but we need to see apa benda sebenarnya yang tak boleh sangat go online tu. We understand because you are TVET kan, so dia lain sikit dia punya tu, not like the rest. But if you can do all this video kind of thing, or you know apa orang kata synchronous kind of thing, and students can access, then will be better lah, because then we don't have to worry about students coming back and risk the safety of the students here. Tapi again, saya tak tahu basically apa benda sebenarnya yang tak boleh go online tu. We need to understand yang tu. Now we notice, like for example, dulu kita fikir, engineering ni tak boleh go online. But now we notice engineering semua dah boleh. They can do it because they are developing virtual labs, for example. So can you have virtual kitchen? I'm not sure lah. So maybe not now lah, because kalau virtual kita kena ada some form of development time, and you don't have the expertise to develop virtual kitchen, for example. But engineering, they may have the expertise to do virtual lab. So tak apa. So present the case and then look at what we may be able to do to improve this. For now, you kena bawa lah case tu pada pejabat TNCA, pada saya lah tu sebenarnya.
Ya, terima kasih Prof.
Okay,
alright. Actually ada portion yang actually kita boleh ODL kan, ada mungkin small portion yang memang kena face to face tu in term of assessment lah. But then overall ada lecturers yang willing to actually go advance and create the assessment. Cuma adalah typical face to face lecturer yang macam really into face to face ni kan.
Ya betul. Kalau yang tu, kalau it's about mindset or perspective tu, we really hope the faculty can handle lah. I mean, pujuk lah in a way. I mean, tunjukkan all the things that can be done. Otherwise, I know some people, lecturers, sorry to say this, there are lecturers who are so kata nervous pasal benda ni semua. So ada yang bercakap, ada yang tak bercakap. Ada some tu dia bila dia tak berani dengan all this ODL thing, what they do is they just masuk WhatsApp, dia bagi assignment, dia hilang. So students complain. They only see the lecturers when he or she is giving assignment sahaja. Tapi I believe the lecturer, dia nervous pasal benda ni semua. So they need maybe support from dia punya colleague, from dia punya faculty. Like I said, we are not doing the collaboration much sekarang ni. So in this case mungkin kalau perlu more pendedahan ke, I'm not sure if it's a mindset kind of issue yang ni kan. Tapi insyaAllah boleh solve tu.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Haji.
Okay, Prof. Ni saya ada 2-3 soalan yang dihantar kepada pihak usaha ni, Prof. Saya baca terus, Prof ya. Yang pertamanya, Prof, how do I know if my learners are actually learning online?
Okay, nak jawab terus kan?
Ataupun saya baca terus lagi 2 soalan, Prof.
Ataupun saya jawab dulu yang tu. How do I know my learners are learning online? So, how do you gauge that? What I do is I normally probe lah. I tanya kadang-kadang, for example, when I start the next session, I tanya, okay Aiman, you remember the theory that we discussed last week? And Aiman will have to answer. Or I just buat general punya question, but a lot of probing and questioning, then you can gauge. Or you give them task lah, the task that actually will show you that they're learning online. But if you are asking me whether they actually stayed online, yang itu saya tak boleh nak jawab, because if you are having a 2-hour session, dia pergi tidur, masak, tumbuk sama belacan ke, tak boleh nak cakap. Okay, but you may want to go to the next design, which is active and interactive. Present content sikit, ask question. Present sambung, ask question. Then they will be on their toes. Rather than present 2 jam and kata okay, we are done for the day. That is my answer lah. Okay, and am I answering whoever asking that question? I hope so lah ya. Okay, next question.
Okay, Prof. Soalan yang kedua, Prof. How to build up learners' capability to be a self-direct learner?
Okay. How? This one requires a lot of coaching and coaxing. Okay. When I started this ODL thing, my students are second semester student, very young. Okay. Tapi among the student, among them, normally there will be seorang yang akan stand out sikit lah kan. So sometimes I use dia. Okay. For example, I give them a task and she finished early. So I said, oh, let's just give her name Suzy. Suzy did this very well. So can you all learn from her and maybe find some other resources that may make this thing better or something like that. So in a way, they are not dependent on me. That is langkah nombor 1. Jangan dia dependent on myself and my PowerPoint sahaja. So they kind of self-direct. So and then I give them time lah. Macam the MOOC thing, for example, I told them, okay people, we are not going to meet this week. We are going to be at Coursera learning this. You have the time between this till this. It's up to you to finish it as early as possible or to wait till the end. But you see, they dah pick up dah that skill, they direct early. Dia dah finish dah. Bermakna somehow they did not wait for me to say, okay now everyone go online. So saya kurang bagi arahan yang macam tu. Selalunya saya akan bagi arahan yang lebih flexible lah, so that they learn slowly. But number 3, you have to, resources tu kena clear lah, dia kena tahu where to find. You tak boleh kata, okay, go online and search. Tak boleh. You need to tell them specific ataupun a few resources so that they go and actually get the best. That is our role. We are the curator and the designer, so we have to know better than our students where the best resources are. Other than that, I would say it's more on motivating the student. Student, I notice if they submit something and I said, wow, you did this much better than myself. Like the Mukti, I said, hey, I have not finished week 1 pun, you dah finished. Students, just like you and I, we get motivated by this kind of thing. So we want to do more. When we want to do more, then we tend to direct our what we want to do next. So they slowly they become more self-directed. But please do not expect degree students to become self-directed very quickly. Tak boleh. Even our master student pun tak berapa self-directed. Pardon me for saying that. Not all lah, but some very, but not all. So that will be my advice lah. But normally it's about being connected to the student. Itu saja sebenarnya. To compliment them, to affirm them what they are doing. They like that. They need to know that. Okay, soalan nombor 3.
Okay, Prof. Soalan yang terakhir, Prof. What is the level of teaching effectiveness and transfer of learning as compared to face-to-face learning? What is the right combination of online and face-to-face learning to maximize learning process?
Oh, wow. I would say it depends on your course, number 1. But I have always been a blended learning person. So saya memang suka blend. To nak letak berapa persen or berapa persen tu is not easy. It depends on the course. It also depends on the topic sebenarnya. Okay. So if I'm given the choice, I would do all this macam tadi practical, betul ajar dia orang Excel and everything tu semua face to face. But I do the rest like reflection, like critical analysis, I'll do that online. So to say that there is a certain percentage to get the maximum optimized learning, I've not reached that level lah. Tapi nak pencen dah next week, next year maknanya tak sempat lah nak really do that. But if you give me your course, I may be able to look at it and say, this one should be basically online, but this one is better off face to face. So I always believe blended learning is the best, but at the moment we cannot blend. But blended learning can be not necessarily online and face to face on campus. If I were to teach physics now, I will use home experiment. I will blend that. It's not online. I will give them home experiment pi buat. Okay. I do that a lot when I was teaching physics dulu. So I suruh, for example, fill up water balloon and then dip it into the in the bathtub, kalau ada bathtub or pail, and then explain to me what's happening. It's a home experiment. That is not online. Tapi I blend tu sebenarnya. I'm not there. They are doing it and then they will explain. So things like that lah yang you have to think. It depends on the course as well. I'm sorry, I cannot answer berapa peratus. If you look at your course, you see what technology, how technology will serve, what purpose technology will serve, what online will serve. Then you look at that chunk and put that online and the rest to face to face. This is we are talking when we are not doing ODL lah Tapi for now we do most of our thing online.
Assalamualaikum Prof. Lily nak tanya sikit boleh tak?
Tak kenal lah Lily ni. Yes Lily.
Okay,
yes,
Prof
Lily.
sikit saja. Okay, it seems that ODL has taken place masa COVID-19 ni. So we had the chance to meet our students for 2 weeks lah. So that 2 weeks kita ada face to face and we had the chance to meet the students and distributed all the books and notes.
Yeah.
And then that actually helped us to accelerate for the rest of another 12 weeks or whatever weeks, Prof, ya.
Yes.
So di situ kita dah ada groundwork with our students lah. And we are so lucky that time because we had that 2 or 3 weeks, ya. So for the coming semester, Prof, sekiranya kita tak ada chance to see our students, what not. So can we still proceed with an effective ODL sebab isunya kita kena bagi student pelajar-pelajar untuk beli buku, So that will be our groundwork lah untuk kita operate for the rest of our semesters. So for the coming semesters ni, Prof, apa pendapat Prof kalau kita tak jumpa langsung dengan pelajar kita? I need your comment. Thank you.
Okay, that is why we are bringing our first semester students, because we need them to come in and experience the campus experience and meet the penasihat akademik and so on. We understand, we agree, I agree with you. We need that face-to-face kind of thing. But for next semester, I'm sorry, at the moment it's still not possible. So if we are using a textbook this semester, maybe next semester you may have to you can ask them to buy lah. You have to arrange, or you have to find different forms of content lah. Maybe benda yang sama but then dalam bentuk yang lain, maybe dalam bentuk web punya resources ke, supaya you can arrange it properly in your island ke, your future ke, Google Classroom and so on. If textbook tu is an issue lah, but to meet them, we may need to have an induction session kind of thing lah, online juga, without teaching. First round tu kita borak saja dulu and then get to know each other, then only start next week. We may need to do that because you cannot start on the first day of the semester terus give them content. Maybe they need to connect with you first, then only we move slowly into ODL. But we don't have the kind of time that we have this semester tau. Next semester it's going to be a shorter semester, so we have to be very patient. That's why we say try this minimalist thing, kurangkan some of the things that we normally follow, ikut scheme of work and so on tu. We have to redesign.
Bila Prof kata redesign kat situ, katakanlah kita punya assessment, let's say learning outcome kita ada 4 Prof, and that is quite taxing for the students. So can it be, is it possible to reduce that learning outcome kita tu?
Bukan learning outcome yang kita reduce, kita tengok assessment. So assessment tu memang learning outcome. Kalau kita nak tu, kita kena, we have to review our curriculum lah pula, and you have to go through the process. Tak salah, you can review, but you need to, you are heading the program kan, Dr. Lily? So so you may want to do a review if it is too taxing in a sense that some things tu memang tak perlu kot. You don't have to pun teach them, they can get it from elsewhere. So you can do a review of the curriculum lah. Then you have to go through the process. But if it's assessment, you can re-look at the assessment and easily get it, not easily lah, I would say easily get it approved at JAV, and you can do that actually. That's why we early of the semester in March, that's the first thing that we told the KPPs and the TDs, get people to review their assessment. Tengok balik assessment. Kalau I saw this in Melaka the other day, the assessment, how do I say, dah clean. Ada 3 assessment saja, but it's clear that what they are measuring with that assessment item, rather than we have so many macam
Because I felt that kalau macam empat learning outcome, Prof, it's quite taxing, and then online, and then we have to consider there are many subjects juga. Let's say kalau dah 6 subjek ataupun 4 subjek, Prof, kita kali dengan 4 tu dah banyak sebenarnya assessment kita untuk student kita. So I would like to ask your opinion whether we can actually adjust on that learning outcome lah.
Oh, you can go through the normal process. But the good thing, the best thing is, Dr. Lily, is to have this blueprint of the whole semester student tu. Let's say first semester dia ambil 4 subjek or 5 subjek kan. Tengok apa assessment dekat subjek ni, apa assessment dekat subjek ni, apa assessment dekat subjek ni.
Right.
And then only you can understand. All subject require video. Tak boleh ni. Mati lah 7, 6 courses all requiring video. Yeah, that kind of thing. So you as the KPP, actually you can do that. Look at the blueprint. Look at the whole thing. You know, look at the whole thing. Yes, the matrix. Yeah, like the one that I estimate just now. When you do that, then you notice. This particular experience that the students are going through, you know. Teruk dia orang sebenarnya. I notice that.
Sebenarnya teruk. Dia especially when I talk about the postgraduate students and Prof, kata kalau kita sekarang ni kita ada 4 learning outcome, ya. Itu dah ada 4 outcome yang dia kena proses, ya. Yang dia kena buat dan dia kena achieve. So kali dengan 4 subjek is already 16 assessment actually. So that is the rigorousness lah of the course. So that is my concern. So boleh kita buat kat sini some adjustment, you know. So we still need to bring that to the meetings, Prof.
Ya, because kita tak nak pula nanti ada lecturer ikut suka hati dia je lah kan. I mean, bukan, I know the ni, some of you memang ada good intention. Tapi we cannot have one lecturer doing something like this here in Shah Alam, for example, and another lecturer in Melaka teaching the same course tapi different assessment. So that's why we always go to the RP and the KB.
Prof, another one question saja lagi. Sekarang ni saya nampak ada berbagai platform, ya. We were given the freedom, ya, to use whatever platform yang pensyarah rasa comfortable to engage with, ya. Okay, so untuk pendapat Prof lah, yang berada di atas sana, ya, adakah kita punya support system untuk teknologi ni, Prof, berada di dalam tahap yang okay ke tahap apa, ya, Prof, sekarang ni? Sebab I understand that kita dah subscribe kepada Gmail and we have a lot of platform there. You know, and it is very good because even dekat luar pun, universiti luar pun, dia tak sangka yang, you know, UiTM has gone so far, you know. So I would like to have your feedback as a practitioner up there. Thank you.
I think we have no problem with the many platforms. We will probably have problem with your connectivity when you're doing things from home. Itu saja. So if you decide to, I know many people are using Google Classroom, but many people are also using UFuture. So why don't we macam orang kata terus orang kata apa ni instruct you all, everybody use UFuture. We don't do that because we believe in this flexibility with this autonomy of the lecturer to deliver the best through platform yang dia selesa. But at the moment, segi bentuk platform or what infrastructure has provided to you, it shouldn't be a problem. Cuma your connectivity saja lah. Sebab saya I've used connectivity, Prof. I from my side, I try my very best to facilitate myself lah kan. Kita adakan satu connectivity yang bagus macam Unify ke apa ke on my side. Tapi untuk the other side, the end user will be the students. So I noticed that for the past 10, kita dah minggu ke-10, Prof. Kadang-kadang saya terpaksa tegur pelajar supaya invest on the connectivity. So this is the issue now because students, saya dah kata dengan diorang, UiTM dah bagi RM30 and can you just top up another like
30 more ringgit to get unified connectivity. So benda ni menjadi issue on the other side, on the end user. So cuma I'm trying very best to reach them kan. So I think UiTM has done a good job by giving them 30 ringgit per month, Prof. At least they can support the talian.
Yalah, tapi then again macam postgrad, I'm not sure whether they get postgrad dapat. Tapi postgrad, some of them they lost their job. So ada banyak isu lah yang dekat situ. Sebab tu kita kata if next semester, if you have that kind of students, maybe you can just go back to the simple technology like print, like whatever. Give them a thumb drive with all the materials that they are supposed to go through. From time to time, just use simple technology. Itu issue kita with the mature student. They lost their job and that kind of thing, you know. The younger students ada isu mak ayah bergaduh, mak ayah nak bercerai lah, whatever. A lot of things lah in this at this time of COVID time.
It's a challenge there, bro.
Yeah. So I think
it's a challenge, social challenge.
Yes, that's why I end with that slide. We need that compassion lah. We have to be understanding.
Yes, okay. So we have until August then, Prof, untuk mereka lah, untuk just to get the students have some space to finish up whatever they have to finish up.
Yes. Kalau TDA semua tak agree dengan Yul, minta dia hubungi saya lah, because we have time sebenarnya. Jangan be too rigid on that. Give them time. You have time and give them a bit more time. But please do not wait till the last week of August that everybody nak upload marks masa tu. Then we will have a problem.
So we tackle the problematic one lah, Prof.
Yes, good. Exactly, Dr. Lily. Thank you for saying that, because we may have students yang already macam mine tadi, dah siap dah. That one of them tu, nama Syahidah tu, she finish her e-portfolio already. She has done her punya basically she has completed. But there are some yang belum. So you have to work with that group of students. Thank you for saying that. Yes. All right.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Okay, Prof. Saya fikir itu sajalah soalan daripada sesi soal jawab kita pada kali ini, Prof, ya.
Ya.
Jadi dimaklumkan juga kepada semua peserta untuk mengisikan kehadiran di pautan Google Form yang telah diletakkan di ruangan komen. Jadi bagi peserta yang mengikuti sesi webinar ini melalui live streaming, kehadiran boleh diisi dengan mengimbas QR code yang akan kita pancarkan di skrin sekejap lagi. Bagi pihak pengajar, Prof, kami bagi daripada bahagian penyelidikan dan wasi dan juga terutamanya daripada Fakulti Pendidikan ingin merakamkan jutaan terima kasih kepada Prof Dr. Hajah Aziah atas pengkongsian hari ini, dan juga diucapkan juga terima kasih kepada semua peserta yang menyertai sesi webinar pada hari ini. Jadi itu saja, Prof. Semoga kita berjumpa lagi di masa yang akan datang. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, Prof.
Salam, terima kasih sekali lagi kerana menonton saya. Terima kasih pada semua yang stay to listen. So hopefully we can do this together lah, insyaAllah ta'ala. Alright, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Thank you very much.
Thank you kembali.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
I see so many familiar faces actually.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Ridwan is also here.
Thank you. Selamat Hari Raya, Prof.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Hari Raya, Prof. Assalamualaikum.
Dr. Aliaka, how are you? Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Alhamdulillah, Prof. Thank you. Prof, nak share slides boleh?
Boleh. I think saya bagi pada
Thank you, Prof. Bye.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hai Prof Hajah.
Okay.
Prof Hajah, apa khabar? Zuzela.
Baik. Oh, wow.
Selama ni tak boleh attend you punya course, now I boleh.
Tak.
I will follow you.
Tak, slide ni nanti saya. Okay, Dr. Arif, how are you? Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Datin, good job lah
Prof,
Datin.
kita ada tanya ke
Hey, Dr. Banjit. Prof Banjit. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a question. Now sort of informal session lah.
Yeah,
habis
can.
I think I'm first time. I am not a technological person, but since
I know.
But let me tell you, now if you ask me, because now you ask me about this ODL, I think we should have, because I'm enjoying it 95%.
Wow.
You know why? I really think because I think it's, you know why? I think I can do more through, because why? I can see each student, I can see each of their facial expression, and I can be sitting on my comfortable chair, and I can do so many things as I'm doing. So I was thinking, Prof, maybe there's some policy of UiTM, every course for 14 weeks, at least 35-40% must have online learning.
Prof, the policy is 50%.
Okay lah, saya boleh buat 50% lah. Ada 50% lah.
But we don't want to force people. Virus ini, you are here.
Ya, Prof. Khabar Prof.
Baik, Alhamdulillah. Allah, my student.
Itu visit saya ni yang saya kenal.
Ya, lahai. Lamanya tak nampak.
Ya,
Anyway, betul Prof. Prof Amjid, betul. We have that 50%. Online sepatutnya. Tapi kita tak nak paksa. So kan,
but I think because earlier when you ask me means I say no way. But now if you ask me, because I really can experience it. Only those who are facing difficulties with online, very few students. Out of at least very few students. So only for that student I feel bad for them. But for other students, I think it's okay lah. I think not bad.
I think our part-time postgrad should be basically online most of the time, Prof.
50%, Prof.
But one more thing, Prof. For me, I get up in the morning. I think I save so much more time in my 3 hours in this class here than face to face. So I'm really thinking 50% online, 50% face to face.
Yeah,
I think
and I think the students sayang you lagi lah once you are online with them all the,
online we can have more interactive. I bring my cat inside the classroom, the students bring their cat inside the classroom.
Yes, that's right. Okay, one of the tips given by one of these experts on online and so on is when we are lecturing or giving our lesson to the students, to actually bring your child, your cucu, and just introduce it to the class. That will help a lot in terms of connecting with the student. Betul tu.
Betul, very true.
Yeah. Fairuz, anak dah berapa?
Anak saya 2 lah Prof. Dengan arwah dulu 2 je.
Oh ya. So sekarang ni
Hello, Assalamualaikum Prof.
Waalaikumsalam. Oh, look at that.
Zach is here.
Yeah.
Zach, when you're at still at APB, right?
Yes, I'm still at APB.
Aduh, hai. Alhamdulillah. Oh, so many people saying things here. I tak sempat nak jawab message.
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saya Arif daripada Intech Education College.
Oh, okay. Ada orang Intech. Apa khabar?
Alhamdulillah. So actually I'm teaching professional program ACCA. Okay.
Yeah.
100% on final exam only. We know assignment and so on, but I still give assessment lah, macam tutorial, test 1, test 2 for monitoring purpose.
Macam formative lah tu, formative assessment kan.
And we officially using official punya platform Zoom lah. Okay, bukan Google Meet. You are using Zoom. Tapi I realise sebab dia kan 100% on final kan. To maintain the motivation of the students tu yang I rasa difficulty sebab memang as you know professional program, one subject tu combination like 5 to 6 subject in one paper.
Yeah, I know.
So when I memang kena rely betul-betul like face to face online classes live kebanyakannya. And student ada yang text, tak boleh nak buat self study, family and so on. I don't know how ready. So ada yang macam every week text I macam itu. I pun sampai I forward nombor kaunselor kat dia dah. Student tu. So
wow.
At the end assessment is not from me kan, 100% is from on the final. So how is that Prof?
Yeah, and the students know, students tahu kan yang assessment semua on the final kan. I think memang what you are doing, be giving them the formative punya assessment tu betul. And maknanya memang nak kena coax them to imagine if they don't do this well, they're gonna fail that final yang satu tu. Itu yang kena sampaikan pada diorang sekarang ni. Kalau tidak, they will not spend time. But I thought they are good students.
Ya, memang they are good, tapi professional ni expect the unexpected lah. Professional paper is like that.
I see.
So not all web 2.0 that suitable lah for professional program. I feel that way lah. Sebab dia case study, real case study. So more to live class compared to other platform macam kat WhatsApp. Susah nak explain all that through WhatsApp or other platform sebenarnya.
Tak boleh. I don't think you can do that because diorang punya satu intensif kan. So kalau guna Zoom, ada yang tak boleh attend ke?
Ada yang macam keluar masuk dia automatic because of the internet and so on lah. So bahaya lah dia tak dengar my explanation because it relate to the industry and so on kan. So try my best lah kat situ. Ni Arif yang dulu UiTM, e-learn dulu.
Oh okay. Katakanlah apa nak kata yang ada internet yang tak baik, yang tak elok ni macam Dr. Lily cakap tadi, can we suggest pada diorang to find that? Because macam ni, ada student kita, dia dah katalah dia guna Selcom dekat campus. Dia balik rumah, Selcom kat situ sebenarnya tak elok. A better one will be a different provider. So sepatutnya the student mesti subscribe pada yang provider yang di mana dia berada tu, not the one yang dia kena.
Tapi memang dekat area kampung dia memang kebanyakan platform dia memang susah. Sebab I nampak juga bila ikut attendance report kat Zoom, nama dia baru dia dalam list. Maksudnya dia memang dia orang masuk.
Kesiannya kat dia.
So
tapi kalau kita personal coaching sekali-sekala dengan dia boleh kot dia akan rasa motivation tu lah. Saya rasa.
I jawab lah juga kat WhatsApp bila orang tanya contoh, I still try to address. Sometimes I record, I bagi kat WhatsApp, I cakap walaupun lambat nak download, you just wait sampai dah complete download, lepas tu tak ada tengok internet dah, you play the video je. I do my alternative macam itu.
Ataupun you masukkan dalam thumb drive, you mail je lah pada dia. Boleh juga. I know one lecturer dekat Melaka yang memang tiap-tiap minggu dia akan guna telefon je sebab student tu memang tak boleh nak online langsung. Tapi dia dah hantar dulu material tu pun dia dah hantar. Kita nak
macam buku kita tak risau sebab publisher buku memang wujud. Publisher buku memang wujudkan e-book sekarang. So kita orang beli e-book untuk student, tapi e-book tu wajib ada internet. So
ya betul.
Next kesian lah ada buku semua kan, tapi lah ada notes, ada material student lah.
I think memang you kena banyak lah buat workbook, worksheet, saya pun
do you think you have a standard advice or guideline for me macam policy, not policy UiTM tau, I'm referring to for professional program, what is the best platform and so on, because I think dengan sini kebanyakannya is like general for yang ada assessment kan. So
I think good. Saya akan tengok ambil masa sikit, talk with the people yang running professional program juga dekat sini and see how they are doing it. That's the best lah because personally saya pun tak pernah kaji betul-betul apa yang ada dalam dalam course professional program betul-betul what kind of requirement yang perlu kan. I understand yang dia memang a little bit intensif macam doktor cakap tadi, tapi mungkin supporting material tu yang kita nak tengok. Kalau pada yang tak boleh online lah, tapi yang lain tu kita nak kena motivate dia untuk beritahu dia bahawa if they don't do this, final nanti you akan Yang tu nak kena beritahu selalu. Aduh.
Prof Aziah,
Yes.
boleh Lily tanya
Lily.
Thank you, Prof.
Prof, kalau boleh kita tanya, saya rasa polisi government akan bertukar mengenai connectivity. Because they are more concerned now to reach all the students, Malaysia, nationwide. So is it possible to have that administrators up there, to maybe to ask the support for the connectivity from the government? Apa harus dilakukan oleh kerajaan untuk membantu pelajar-pelajar di luar bandar especially, mungkin dia ada center untuk pelajar berkumpul macam di Sarawak dan Sabah. Saya nampak dia pergi ke satu pondok ni hanya untuk dapatkan talian. So that is a very challenging lah on the user sides lah, on student sides. Maybe Prof di atas sana boleh facilitate kita punya visi mengenai connectivity issue, so that the government can help to reach all these students lah worldwide. I mean worldwide in Malaysia lah, sorry. Prof.
Sebab sebenarnya, for example KPT, we are working, I'm not from KPT. KPT, they are working very closely with the telcos. Itu memang they are doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. As for the rural punya ni, memang it is in the plan. At the moment, I am supposed today, for example, to forward information pasal our ODL ni to KPT punya task force, because they are going for this digital education secara meluas. So which means when you talk about digital education, then that's why for schools last year kita dah introduce Google Classroom, because we have to do this seriously lah. Macam dekat rural area, sebenarnya we got a lot of rural internet centers and pusat internet and pusat whatever we have. Mungkin for the past few years kita dah macam terabai tau. So maybe now again like you said,
terabai, no maintenance.
But I kaji rural internet centers in 2012. Masa tu pun masih ramai tapi dah berkurangan. But now it's something that betul like you said, betul we can revitalize balik orang kata all this support center and can go. That's why I was going to jawab yang tadi tu, nak kata maybe the students yang dekat kampung ni bila PKPB ni berakhir insya-Allah soon, dia boleh keluar lah and go find all these centers. Cyber cafe kena bayar sikit tapi that kind of support. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Prof.
Yeah. Zach, you look like you're already in a studio lah.
Well, basically what I did was I bought the microphone. I'm home and I bought a partition. Basically if I remove the partition, boleh nampak my piling up laundry and whatnot lah. So Prof, just not your perception on my practices. What I do is for my lectures, I tend to use Google Meet with my classes. So I use Google Meet and just macam apa yang Prof explain just now lah. Kadang-kadang kita boleh perasan which student yang ada internet connectivity. Start keluar masuk. So what I do is all of my Google Meet sessions, when I start talking, I'll record it. And then rather than sharing the video, I tend to upload it on YouTube as unlisted, because YouTube kan, when you want to view videos, it's based on your own internet connectivity. So so students mana yang terlepas or because that they couldn't meet me at that point of time because of whatever reasons, I give them the option to view it later on. And also in terms of to complete whatever tasks that I assign them, I bagi a longer period of time lah, usually about 24 hours or plus.
Yeah, betul tu, that's right. That's good. Because I do the same thing. I upload to YouTube because YouTube will be a better for them to watch later. Is easily access rather than you sending them their the link lah from your.
Yeah, betul.
Betul. So betul lah tu, you spread it out So I think students will have a choice. Mungkin dia tak boleh nak attend your session but they get to watch it later, but you need to find a way to check whether actually they understand or they are comprehending what you done lah. Itu saja.
Well,
Maybe
in terms of their understanding, what I do is like for my in-class attendance, by the end of the week, I will get my attendance is in the form of macam Google form lah. So what I do is I type their names. All they have to do is just click on their names and their student IDs, and then also every single week there's a question on what I've taught. So I call that verification of learning lah. So so from there I get to know whether collectively my students faham ke tak what I taught and whatnot. That's what I do lah.
Well done.
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Salam. Ya Allah, you jangan tanya soalan, you lagi pandai daripada I.
No, Prof. Just nak share je lah my experience kan. Since dah kita yang train orang, and then my own experience dalam ODL ni. So basically, mula tengok anak, all my 3 kids, okay, they attended their online sessions, okay, from the morning till night. And then I can see their frustration bila connection tu on and off. And then dia tak dapat dengar cikgu dia cakap, and then dia tak dapat join all the activities because of the internet connection kan. Right, itu satu. And then second one, my own experience masa yang kita mula-mula buat online course tu kan, saya sendiri pun tak boleh masuk kan, saya cik terkeluar. So I can feel the frustration. Okay, kita dah jadi macam orang kata apa, memang frust. Okay, and then for my classes, okay, saya run this survey and then found out that ada student yang memang tak ada laptop and then they only have their mobile phone with a limited internet connection. So based on that profile, so I have to go for the low tech punya platform. So I use a Telegram.
Betul.
Okay. Dan alhamdulillah bila dah go through Telegram, saya incorporate all the medium. Okay, so I have all the slides. Okay, where all the slides tu saya convert into image. Okay, and then the lectures, okay, saya buat voice notes. Okay, for every slide tu kita baca bagi lecture. Right, and then so student will take their own time lah. Dia kan kalau dia tak faham, dia akan dengar berkali-kali sampai dia faham. So we give them time, okay, to understand that particular slides. Okay, and then nak tengok dia punya engagement after one topic. Okay, so dalam Telegram ni dia ada satu macam features, we call it poll. So dalam poll tu kita boleh tengok siapa yang faham, siapa yang tak faham. Kalau yang tak faham tu kita boleh orang kata apa, directly orang kata apa dengan dia, tanya apa yang dia tak faham ataupun dia boleh tanya dalam group.
Betul.
Okay, and then kita buat macam tutorial, kita tanya macam Prof cakap kita probe pun, itu pun saya buat. Okay, so dia dan kita boleh nampak lah macam orang kata apa, at the beginning masa attendance ramai masuk, for almost let's say kata the 30 students kan, semua 30 students tu dah sign for attendance. But in the middle tiba-tiba dah tinggal 20. So at first macam tu, bila lama-lama dia tengok trend saya macam tu, so kita okay, every ni kan tengah buat tu kita tanya faham tak, so kita akan buat poll. So kita nampak berapa orang yang tengah online, berapa orang yang jawab apa semua kan, so kita track dia punya attendance dekat situ kalau nak tengok dia punya engagement lah. And then kita buat, and then kalau kata dalam Telegram ni dia ada quiz. So quiz dia pun agak interesting. So every end of the, let's say we completed two objective, not the whole topic. Okay, let's say kata kita ada linear account, ada 4 kan dalam topik tu. So after completed 2, buat quiz. And then quiz dalam Telegram ni interesting sebab cara dia apa semua kan, dia ada timing. So sudah ni dia macam memang suka benda-benda macam ni kan, dia adrenaline rush dia suka. And then dapat dia punya tu memang suka. And then at the end tu semua tanya, minta dia orang punya feedback apa semua kan. Dia cakap ya alhamdulillah, nampak dia kata madam, terima kasih sebab guna platform ni. This is the only subject, the only course yang kita pakai platform ni. And then saya boleh repeat apa yang saya tak faham terus. And then kalau kata video, saya incorporate video. But dalam video tu pula, saya akan compresskan saiz dia kepada saiz yang paling minimum, which is 640 times 480. Which is orang kata apa, yang require very minimum internet connection bila dia nak download. Sebab kalau kata kita pakai YouTube, so that one dia masih lagi perlukan internet connection every time dia nak tengok video tu. Tapi bila kita dalam Telegram, dalam video tu sendiri, dia download, so video tu memang dia dah ada. So dia tak, for the second time nanti, dia dah tak perlu internet connection untuk tengok video tu. Untuk repeat. So dia memang dia dah ada benda tu. So that's another way. So yang penting,
I think ada a number of people are using Telegram. Saya tahu tu. I think macam Dr. Roslinda
yes.
Guna Telegram. Tapi Telegram ni design dia ialah the fourth design tu lah. You ada active and interactive punya punya session. So it will take a little bit longer, but kalau the students are okay, which is good. I think it's good. What you just described to me is good sebenarnya. Especially for your subject lah. Bukan senang tu nak ajar your subject tu.
Itulah sebab kena pula student yang bukan computer science background kan.
Yes.
Kena banyak explanations. So kata oleh memang go for synchronous, sebab I have to go for synchronous due to the student profile. Sebab kesian dia orang tak boleh nak ni. Once dia tertinggal satu subjek, satu topik, dia akan tak faham the entire subject tu kan. So
in 2018 a lecturer from mana ya, UKM ya, she won anugerah pengajaran, bukan pengajaran, anugerah reka bentuk pengajaran by just using Telegram.
Oh okay.
Yes, tapi now kalau you submit sekarang
tak adalah.
because orang dah guna kan. Tapi she explored it earlier. Sebenarnya yang the simple things ni yang sebenarnya yang can be very good for you. I hope to see you sometime. Sekarang ni kita distancing dululah ya.
Tak apa, insyaAllah. Okay, tu je nak share, tu je lah.
Thank you for the sharing. Ayah.
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Salam.
Saya Ain dari Sarawak.
Okay.
So I just want to let Prof know lah some of the macam critical condition that we have to face. I'm teaching accounting and finance. So most of my student memang dah balik, and then at our campus when we do survey last time, basically only 30% of my student yang ada laptop for the whole semester, part 1 to part 5. Most of them come from B40 lah. So what did we do, sebab I'm teaching mostly part 5 final semester for diploma. So this final semester has a lot of subject yang ada role play, project based and so on. So I cannot really go with the every week meet up. So what did I do? I assigned them a bulk of assignment for the chapter after lecture. Then I'm going to follow up 2 weeks later, because if I'm following up every week, they are going to go crazy because they already have a lot of stress from the other subject as well. Yeah, since I don't have that role play and so on, so I just give them like ample time lah. So the problem is I'm using GC, Google Classroom, in my teaching and learning during PKP. Previously, I'm using Island lah, so forum I discuss and so on. But since we facing PKP ni, I think GC is much better. And then the problem is because I'm teaching calculation subject, we don't have really a friendly user platform to do tests for the calculation online. So I hope if you can discuss this matter to the higher management or top management, maybe UiTM can start with the in-house design for the test for calculation subject lah. Because I try to find online tapi tak jumpa. So that is one of my concern. Second, some of my basically memang tak dapat dikontak langsung. Maksudnya dia tak ada internet langsung. So dia cuma ada line telefon, satu bar je, 1 atau 2 bar. And this one macam very rural lah. So what did I do right now? Sebab I have no idea, and then diorang pun tak nak tangguh SEM sebab dia dah final. dia tak nak grad lambat lah. So what the things yang I boleh buat adalah give them workload and then tutorial notes using SMS. So I have to go to the remote learning, especially with this low bandwidth student lah. So like macam I think Dr. Lele ada cakap tadi yang pasal apa they can go to the nearest community center to get internet. While that is very good option and suggestion to government, but somehow in Sabah and Sarawak, I think because of faktor geography, so those things sometimes impossible for certain area. So maybe in the future, since I think we are moving toward ODL, maybe Prof boleh cadangkan supaya ada task force untuk design for calculation subject for the test, or maybe remote learning, because we don't know in the future kalau we are facing the same situation, at least we are ready lah. Sebab some of my student complain, I think macam Prof cakap tadi lah, banyak sangat lecturer dan dia orang ni menggunakan different platform. So problem dengan my student adalah dia punya handphone dah lah murah. Lepas tu dia tak ada cukup memory. So bila dia kena download a lot of platform ni, dia rasa macam stress lah. So that is what they mention lah. And then I ada juga lecturer cakap every week kena jumpa, every week kena Google Meet. So I cakap my class is 3 hours. Kalau you nak I Google Meet 3 jam setiap minggu, lebam lah data internet my student. So what did I do?
Tak boleh.
Itulah. So I try to follow your tip to chunk it into a bit of ni lah video tu. I kecil-kecilkan and then I just upload in the Google Classroom and give them like 2 weeks to view all those things and then do at their own time. Sebab I think at Sabah and Sarawak, because of that constraint, no matter how much you spend to the internet data, but somehow only macam big city je yang ada 4G. So that is what we can do lah at this moment. So that is what I want to share with you.
For the first suggestion yang pasal math tu, saya rasa macam you future is working on it. I got a feel, I think dah ada some form of initiative lah, but I can check with you. The second one, yang B40 yang betul-betul tak ada ni, kita dah minta listing tu daripada campus sebab kita nak bawa balik. Sebenarnya lah.
The first one tu sebenarnya Prof, yang you future tu I dah explore actually, tapi is for short question for like accounting and finance. Kalau you ada case study, then it is not possible. Sebab tu I do understand my faculty accountancy struggle juga, especially yang related to professional paper bila you nak do it online, because we don't have that platform yet. Maksudnya private ataupun any institution belum lagi develop that platform untuk you do a lengthy case study punya question lah.
Okay, faham. Okay.
And then yang the second one, I dah submit dah nama student tu, basically we already submitted lah, tapi sebab kan mereka masih menunggu 1 Julai, by the end 1 Julai tu kita dah nak habis dah sebenarnya. Maksudnya ODL ni pun dah nak wrap up dah. So that is the only thing lah. And then
probably 1 Julai kalau dia boleh balik, dia ada about 7 weeks. You still have 7 weeks to work with them.
Yes. So itu je lah, cuma maybe in the future lah, sebab I don't really know how to engage with this remote learning lah. I do implement some gamification concept in my class. So a good thing adalah budak-budak yang tak dapat online on time ni, dia dapat follow gamification and they find it enjoyable lah, sebab dia berlumba siapa yang dapat the highest track. Maksudnya siapa yang dapat cepat siapkan dia punya assessment tu, markah dia akan jadi lebih tinggi. That is how I try to incorporate lah. Sebab
tapi yang tu tak online ke?
Yang tu online, tapi di student dia tak ada online dekat rumah dia, tapi once a week bila dia pergi bandar tu dia akan online dan dia akan try to do the task on the same day lah.
I see, faham.
So that is how.
Alright, bagus. Game is one thing lah, cuma saya tak mention game tadi because it's more for kata it's about fun learning kan.
Yes.
Whole sesi pula kalau nak bercakap pasal fun and active learning.
Because I'm not
Yeah.
doing it. This is not my first semester, so I do understand lah orang lain maybe susah juga nak start the gamification. Tapi sebab I dah doing this for like 3 to 4 semesters, so I find it macam a little bit easy lah. And somehow they managed to get my the attention from the student lah to enjoy the learning and so on.
Okay, good for you.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Dokumen elok-elok, and then kalau ada apa-apa yang boleh di data yang you dapat daripada student semua, you boleh publish. Buat a proper macam kajian, a case of your student. Then you can use it and publish it. So serampan dua mata lah.
Basically, Prof, sebenarnya about gamification, we already publish and present during INCALT 2018.
Oh, okay, good.
But now we want to go to the comparison study. I mean,
right.
Before MCO and while MCO. I mean,
comparative.
Before,
okay.
Yes, before you don't have force factor. Now you have force factor where you have no choice. So you can try to study on that lah. Okay, thank you, Prof.
Okay, and we can study you. Alright, mana tu organizer ya? Can I leave?
Boleh Prof. Thank you so much Prof. Thank you.
Nanti recording tu boleh pass kat saya juga ke?
Macam mana Prof?
Recording.
Betul. Nanti kami akan sharekan recordingnya dan nak minta slide daripada Prof ya.
Saya nak hantar pada siapa ya? Slide ni saya nak hantar pada siapa?
Puan Zurami akan contact Prof. Okay?
Okay. Alright. Okay. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.